like to introduce our head of product management, Adam Kropf, and hand the rest of the session over to him. So welcome, Adam.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Matt. And looking forward to talking a little bit here about Texada. Many of you are very familiar with our sales and our service products, but maybe haven't seen as much of the rental part of our platform of the portfolio. So we'll be talking about that a little bit today. Also going to be talking about why rental. So we know that a lot of dealerships are really focusing on rental right now. And so I'm going to speak to a little bit of some of the opportunities that are being presented right now for dealers to really grow their rental base, both for growing like short-term profitability, but also long-term business growth as well. And then I'll also be showing off a lot of the rental product suite. So with that, we're going to dive right in. So first, we're going to kick off with a poll here. And we'll see it up here. Perfect. So you should have the poll up on your screen here. We'll take just a minute here as people are filling it in. Got a couple people. Perfect. We'll wait for one or two more. Oh, perfect. And perfect. So the results here, looks like we've got a good mix across the board. So we've got some people who are newer to rental, some people who have a couple years of experience, and people who are very experienced. So it's great to have a variety of experience in the room. Looking forward to the questions in the Q&A section at the end there, as I find a lot of the questions you may have are also questions other people are having. So really appreciate the engagement around there. So first up is a little bit about Texada. As I mentioned before, formerly Uptake dealer, very familiar with our sales suite, everything to do with your customer management, sales enablement, all those good things, as well as our service suite, which really helps you manage, your hundreds, thousands of technicians all over the place, servicing all the equipment, all those service contracts, and really helping drive the after sales revenue stream for your business. The piece we're going to be talking about more so today is on the rental side. So what are some opportunities within the dealership space in order to grow your rental business, as well as some of the capabilities that you may not be aware of that Texada offers, and really ways where we believe we can help your business learn and grow. And then as the overarching opportunity presented by using the Texada solutions across all sectors of your business is also those three stripes at the bottom there. So having, a single customer record, being able to truly understand the performance of your business, both by business line, but also by customer, because we can pull in all the data from whether they're renting from you, they're buying things from you, or they're servicing through your teams. And at the end of the day, everything is delivered through modern SaaS architecture, native mobile apps, and things that are really able to meet you where your users are across both the yard, the office, and the field, no matter where your customers are or your team is. So a little bit about the Texada platform. We lovingly refer to this as the product wheel. And really, this is just showing the different pieces that the rental platform can offer to your business. So the core pieces, which is under the name Texada SRM, but all of this is under the Texada Rental Management suite. That's your inventory rental management. So everything from what is your fleet, as well as what is your, what do you purchase it for, all the revenue associated with that, the eventual disposal, your service, your logistics, all those pieces live within the platform here. We do also offer finance and accounting, and we have customers who use other ERPs for their finance and accounting. So we're flexible, working with you both ways, depending on what your needs are as a business. We'll be showing a little bit of the mobile side of the business as well. So field service and maintenance, as well as mobile logistics. So having your trucks pick up the equipment in the yard, drop it off at your customer site, and ever in between, being able to both track their real-time progress, as well as being able to, digitally assign it, making sure your drivers know what to work on next, where to go, all that good stuff. We also have the online portal for being able to view stuff that's available for rent and stuff that is, invoice history and stuff like that as well. And then Texada Pay down here, which is our integrated payments processing as well. So that drives your, cash to customer if a customer calls in and says, hey, I want to rent a skid steer, then you're able to right away capture the card at that time and then use that when you're cycle billing it, or use it when you're doing the rental return, and be able to keep that all together as well. And then the Texada Analytics, which brings it all together as a single analytics platform for your business. So today's demo is going to be fairly high level because it's only going to be about 20-ish minutes of demo time. So in that period of time, there's not able to go super deep. So again, that's where the Q&A questions are so valuable. We can talk through them, or we can definitely arrange a follow-up demo for your team as well. And you're able to pull in more people based on the different specializations as you need. So like I said before, I want to jump in with just a couple pieces around why rental is growing and why so many OEMs are pushing their dealer network to grow in the rentals. So the first one is around, there's a ton of rental market growth right now. I'll be talking about that on a later slide as well. But there's been consistent growth in heavy equipment, growing the amount of share that is rented as opposed to owned, and some of the opportunities that come along with that. A lot of customers are also changing their preferences. So when they're looking at, okay, do I want to own this piece of equipment? Do I want to be maintaining this piece of equipment? Do I want to be transporting this piece of equipment? Sometimes the answer is yes for things that they use all the time, every day. And sometimes the answer is no for things they only need for, the first 5 days of a job and the last 5 days of a job. And owning that piece of equipment throughout the period of time doesn't make sense for them. They're able to focus on construction or roadways and the things that they are really good at, and allow companies such as yourself really focus on the fleet maintenance side of the business. Third piece around this is the opportunity to grow your customer engagement and retention. As we talked about kind of in the intro there, your customers buy from you, your customers do service through you. And those are two really great touch points that continue to build that relationship with the customer, but rental is a third arm to that. So most customers that are buying and servicing things through dealerships, they also have a need for supplemental equipment, and that's where rental can come in, continue to give you that opportunity to be top of mind for them. So when they are looking for future transactions or future equipment, they know and then trust you to fulfill those for you. Fourth up here is around the macroeconomic environment. So, when there's uncertainty around, people are worried about recessions, people are thinking about, okay, are those projects going to continue to come in? A lot of companies are looking for ways where they can kind of hedge a little bit of risk. So maybe instead of buying that skid steer this year, maybe they're like, I'm going to rent it for these jobs that I've lined up. My pipeline's maybe not as full as I would like. So they're going to be renting things. Or, the interest rates spiking as well. So being able to profitably finance that piece of equipment, maybe they're being stretched a little bit on their credit terms with their vendors, and they're needing to be able to keep their, the capital expenditures down right now and focus on just aligning their cost structures directly with their jobs that they're working on. And then the last piece of why you should be looking at growing your rental business is it's very profitable. When we look at the biggest rental companies in the world, they're publicly traded. They have 20+% margin, and they're growing 20+% year over year. And these are multi-billion-dollar companies. And as you guys know, the bigger you are, the harder it is to grow at that level of rate. So it's very impressive that this sector has so much robustness in it. So as I mentioned, there is tons of rental growth. So this was back from 2020. It was projected that the equipment rental market is $90 billion a year, and it's projected to go to $135 billion by 2027. I think we're ahead of that trajectory right now, based on other data I've seen, but this is from the Cat Rental Store website. And it really just speaks to the fact that this is an area of the business that more and more dealerships are getting serious about. And again, as you're building your business, as you're building those customer loyalty, being the first in the door to start building that relationship can be so valuable in driving the long-term value with that customer. Speaking of that, there's, all three parts of the business really do work together to help each other. So when you sell a piece of equipment, it leads to service opportunities, whether through a CVA or through just ongoing service and maintenance. Even if they're doing it themselves, you can sell them parts. So there's lots of opportunities around there. And, when a piece of equipment is, down for a major rebuild or a reman, that's when there's opportunity for rentals. So when you're renting a piece of equipment, if they're renting it a lot, your sales team can view that opportunity and say, hey, you rented this piece of equipment for months and months and months. So why don't look at purchasing this piece of equipment because you're using it so much. And that's where things like great rent-to-own programs can come in to really help take every opportunity that comes through your dealership doors and be able to create an even bigger opportunity through that as well. According to the American Equipment Distributors, they said for dealerships that are just doing sales, their customers will churn 60% year over year, is what they've found. So the dealerships that aren't also offering supplemental services through services or rentals, they have to prospect and drive new demand for their customers, 60% of them year over year, which is a really big lift for your team. So the more touch points you can have, the more opportunities you have to deliver great customer experience, and it just continues to build your brand within the customers. All right, so I'm going to jump straight into the demo here. And like I said, the Q&A is open. It's on the bottom toolbar. If you have questions as we're going through here, feel free to throw those in, and we'd be happy to answer those for you. So this is the home screen of the Texada Rental Management platform. As you log into the interface, this is really everything that's going on in your business right now. So this is you can filter it by specific operators or by divisions and locations, or even type of document. If you're a person who's mostly focused on, the pickups, deliveries, and tasks, and you want to filter out the reservations and contracts, that's fine too. But this is really the nucleus of your business. So you can see things like, okay, I've got to get a delivery done at this time here. I've got to get these pickups done. As your drivers go through and complete them, they start to be completed. They'll display on here as well. And then you can see other upcoming things. Okay, I got to prep equipment for this, for these upcoming contracts. Here's some more deliveries that are coming up as well. So this is kind of your central dashboard as you're going through it. We do have two main interfaces within the rental management suite. So this is the one interface. This is where we're currently building out a lot more core functionality. All of your service managers will be living in here for managing your rental fleet, as well as your logistics coordinators or rental coordinators, depending on what you call them, who's really responsible for managing all your fleet and the moving between locations, moving to customer sites, stuff like that. As I mentioned in the product wheel, we also have SRM, which is this interface here, and it is incredibly deep. It's been used by dealerships for more than 25 years, including some of the biggest cat dealers in the world. And it's very deep with all the modules that you could use if you want to use it as your ERP. Like I said before, it's flexible. That can be both with using it as an ERP or using your own existing ERP. So things like all your receivables, all your collections, paying your vendors, general ledger, all the way through, including things like purchasing. And then as you come onto the platform, you've obviously got great help resources and stuff like that from our team as well. So we're going to do a quick transaction here. So we're going to do a contract, and obviously we support your different divisions and locations. So we have customers with 2 locations, all the way to customers with 100 locations. It doesn't matter. We're flexible to work with you both ways there. We can search for a customer. We'll use ABC Construction here. And as we're going through populating information we need to, this customer's PO, date, time. So we'll set it up for today for 3 days. That's fine for a demo here. Put in a purchase order number for this customer. It's prompted that it's required, so we're going to do that. We're going to look for a boom. So here's some different booms that are available. I can see from this view, okay, these ones are on contracts. These ones are ready to be returned. These ones are on service with different orders, stuff like that. I'm just going to grab this one here. That's available. just confirming my rates. This is an optional pop-up for this piece of equipment. We do also support kits. So if I was renting like a skid steer and you wanted to have, which bucket do you want? Or do you also want a breaker? Do you want any attachments do you want any chisels for your breaker? That's the word. Then you're able to prompt for all that stuff as well. And then if a customer calls in and they wanted this size, but you didn't have it, you can also do substitutions and make sure you're tracking that data where you're actually saying, okay, they asked for this, but I wasn't able to offer it. I offered this instead. And you can adjust the rates accordingly. And then you have analytics that says, hey, I should be buying more of these because I'm always substituting for it, or I'm getting missed rentals for it, or I'm re-renting for it. All three of those things you can completely track within the platform to make sure you're optimizing your fleet size for your business. This is our total screen. This is where we can do things like take a deposit. The system can set up a required deposit for you based on the rental period, based on the customer, stuff like that. We're going to create a delivery ticket off of this one as well. And I mentioned briefly before things like Texada Pay. So right from here, right from your transactional screen, you're able to capture that customer's card. Or if the customer's card is already in file, I can take a deposit right from the screen and add it right to the contract in real time. We also have the ability to email for deposit. So click the button, put in their email address, or select it from the customer's contact. It's going to email them a one-time link where they can review the contract and they can fill that in right from their own device. So really flexible that way. This is great for first-time customers where you want to make sure you're taking the deposit. Maybe they need it right away. You don't have time to do the full on-account approval process, but you can get things going for them right away. And we also have a native e-signature on the rental side as well, where they can either sign it in person or they can sign it from their own device at home. So we can also auto-add services. So this one already has a pickup and delivery charge added to it. So we're going to view this here. And we're just going to do a quick print of the contract, just to give you a little bit idea of what that looks like. And we'll skip the printing delivery ticket. So this is our contract here. So this will obviously be your logo at the top with your branch locations, and all this information is pre-populated. And we have lots of configuration options around what is printed on here in terms of, do you want the serial number? You can add make, model, rental period, lots of options here as well. And then of course, as with any contract, is the terms and conditions. So these are available on the back, and you're able to see all of those pieces. And that's the same thing that's emailed to the customer. That's the same thing they see when they do the e-sign or when they do the deposit. They see the exact same document throughout all the different touch points with you as a company. So we just created a contract here. If we jump back over to our dashboard here, we'll see that we've got this new contract is the one we just put out. So we can view the details here. We can see all the good stuff, as well as we can actually dispatch that. So we're going to jump into our scheduling view. And this is where your logistics coordinator would live. And this is where they're seeing, okay, these are all the things that are going on in our branch. So these are different drivers who have things assigned to them. We can see all of the different tickets here. If I wanted, I can drag and drop a ticket to a driver. Now this driver has these two tasks. And if I say, okay, I want you to do, the delivery second after the other task, tasks can be anything like, okay, I need to deliver a piece of equipment that didn't come from a rental contract, but came from a sales contract. They can do that through a task. They can also transfer a piece of equipment from one site to another site for the customer if you offer custom hauling options for your customers as well. And they're really flexible that way on really creating lots of good stuff for your customers there. This is our delivery ticket that we just created. So we're going to give that one to Joe here as well. And we're going to say, okay, that's going to be the most important thing that they work on. And then that's the order in which I can see everything for my driver here with our different tickets. And then I can see, okay, right now this person's going to go from here to here and here to complete the different tasks or tickets. And then I can reorder it accordingly It just gives you a little insight if you see them zigzagging across the town, or in this case, across the continent, you're able to do that as well. So this is what your logistics coordinator sees. And then I'm going to flip over quickly to give you a little taste of the mobile side to show you what that looks like for your drivers. So these are all the tickets that the driver has assigned. They have lots going on. Obviously, this is our demo environment. And this is currently the iPad view. It's also available on iPhone or Android devices, tablets, doesn't matter. It's all native that way as well. So we're going to say, yep, we're going to load these assets. I can view where it's coming from, where it's going to. I can call the customer, call the branch, navigate to with Google Maps, all that pretty standard stuff. And as we click into the piece of equipment, I can say, yep, I was able to load it. I can grab photos of it at the time of delivery. I can also do a basic inspection for it. So I've taken this piece of equipment. I want to grab a picture of the left side, the right side, capture the current meter information, all that good stuff. All that's available be configured either at the group level or CAT class, as some systems call it, or you can also set that up at the make model level as well. So this is delivery ticket. So my loading is complete. I'm on my way, and off we go. I can also be okay what the next thing I need to work on is, or I've driven my truck. I've now arrived on the customer site, and now I need to unload my assets. So pull it up, say, yep, this one's good. Able to unload, no problem. Again, always recommend taking photos of the piece of equipment on the customer's site, because that's the last time your company touched it. So you want to document what that condition was like when you're dropping it off, so you can compare it when you're doing your pickup. If everything looks good, everything's successful, we can just go take it complete. If there's some reason that we need to flag it to a dispatcher, we can flag it for review. We'll add a comment. Customer is unhappy with skid steer. Just so that your logistics coordinator can, follow up. The customer told you something, you want to capture that. So we're gonna flip this one to internal and save that. And now our dispatcher will be able to review that. We flagged that it requires review, which will show up on the dispatch side as well. So I think it's complete. Now we're reviewing it with the customer, and we can grab a signature for the customer. If they have any customer contacts set up, they can also just select from the list here. In this case, we're going to email to Marcy. We've got the signature, and we're done. So this ticket's now be completed by the driver. All the systems are up to date. And now this piece of equipment is on rent. We've delivered it. We've got a customer signature. So now we're able to charge for it. So this is easy work. And it's able for your team to be able to start billing for things as right away. And we have a real-time timestamp of when we delivered it. So we can see that this one's status here is completed. If I want, I can see that's been flagged for review. I can see why. If I want, I can jump in and view the details of this as well. The review has been requested. I can see what's going on. And I can say, I can action that step within my organization as well. So also, if you want, you can download a copy of that receipt, which will show you what was signed off, who signed for it, and their signature right on the delivery ticket there as well. So again, really important from a compliance perspective, customer acknowledging delivery, customer on site, stuff like that. And, if you have to do delivery at 2 a.m, because that's when you can get down there, you can do it without signature, and that's when you use eSign to grab that signature, and you've got the pictures of the equipment as your backup. All right, the other piece I'm going to show off a little bit briefly here as well is just around the service suite. So if you're just managing your rental fleet separate from your main fleet on the dealership side, again, we have some customers that have one set of fleet that's spread throughout the organization, all facets of the dealership business plus the rental operations. And then we have other customers who are just using, they keep their rental fleet separate from their dealer fleet. So If you're managing your rental fleet separately, you can use this service module. If it's all one combined, you can use Service Link. We're nice and flexible with how you want to run your business. We can meet you where you are. So similar to the logistics side, we can see this is the scheduling view for your service suite. The big difference here is that, yes, you can still drag and drop and reorder things and see the current status, much like you could on scheduling or your tickets. But because some jobs may take days, weeks, months, if they're doing a reman, you can show that in priority order. You can see the status and what they're working on. So it's flexible to be able to work that way. And if for some reason, suddenly we're getting really low on 20-foot scissor lifts and you want to get that one done right away, you can put it up right to the top. And then this is going to notify the technician, hey, this one is now the most important one. Go work on that right away. And again, as things are done, you can see all the details associated with them as well. All right. We have time, still got a minute here. So as we're following all the way through and your customer's done with the piece of equipment and you want to do a rental return, so this is the end of the rental cycle. This is what a rental return would look like. So you can search for, by customer, you can search by piece of equipment name, by serial number, all kinds of stuff here. So it's showing me all the contracts that are for ABC Construction. So I'll grab this air compressor here. It'll confirm, hey, is there any other pieces of equipment on this site that you want to also return? So we'll return the air hoses that went with it. Great. And we're going to review. Oh, we got too many there. So our demo data, sometimes we're better at renting things than we are at returning them. It doesn't like me doing that one. Oh, I think it might be on a ticket. We're going to flip back. And we're just going to grab something other than all these air compressors. We'll grab a rock drill one up. We've got that. We can confirm when the return date and time is. Again, we can see the other stuff that's on here. We got so many things on open pickup tickets. I really got to do some data cleanup. So then we'll go back and we'll do the one we just created. So that was 1009. Oh, in returns, rental returns. Contract asset 1009. Which one we do today? Cool. So hopefully this guy's not on a ticket. Beauty. So we can see summary when it went out. We can see who the customer is, who the salesperson was, and we can also adjust the pricing if we need to for the customer. And then we'll be able to generate an invoice right out of here. So as I mentioned before, we do have the ability to manage the receivables. So if your customers are using that side, it'll all flow through into the receivables with their statements, all that good stuff, as well as being able to push it into another ERP for managing the receivables all in one place as well. So nice and flexible for your business. The other piece I'm going to show briefly as well is the e-commerce side, the gateway side, which can be used by dealerships as well. So it can do things like, show you different fleet that you have available for rent. It can also be used by your salespeople to be able to put in orders through to the rental operations as well. So if we're looking at air compressors again, jump in here, we can see, we'll grab this one, for example, we can see there's a video embedded here. We can have specifications. You can have as many pictures as you want. And as you're going through, you can also update this like you would any other CMS. So, choose your location, which store they're in, browse all your locations, find your nearest stores, all that good stuff. And we'll grab rid of this one. And then we'll add it to the cart and we'll process that. So it's all mobile responsive as well. So if your customers, your salespeople are on a mobile phone or a tablet, it's all good there as well. And then optionally, you have the ability to put in how many like availability, whether you want to expose that just to your salesperson, which is who I'm logged in as. You can see that as well. Or you can turn that off and just take the order, much like a lot of dealerships are taking orders via email today. Hey, I need a skid steer, or hey, I need an air compressor for 5 days starting on the 17th. And then you fill it all in afterwards. But we'll go to checkout. Because it's all one system, it all pulls together. So I can select job sites that are already in the system from before, or I can specify it's going to be an in-store pickup. I'm going to say who's going to be the one for this. So Adam's going to be taking this one. And again, purchase orders required for this customer. So we'll do that as well. I can say I want to go forward and pay for this. If they're not an account customer, allow them to go through. Or if I'm not sure if I want it quite yet, I can also just request a quote. We do have the ability to use the customer's available credit still. So this one, customer still has available credit. So we'll move forward with that. And now we've got our order is showing up back in rental management system, which I can flip into a contract real quickly, choose the specific asset that's going to be going out, create delivery ticket, all in a couple clicks. So all through the system there as well. I can also view my historical orders here. And as a customer, I have the ability to see the different transactions I've done with the company. So if I want to see what I currently have on rent, I have visibility to that. This customer has a lot of invoices, so it'll take a second to load here. But this is all my outstanding invoices. And then because Texada Pay is integrated through the platform, if I grab these invoices, I can actually pay them as well. So this is using some cards that are stored on file for this customer. I can say, actually, I'm actually just going to pay these two. So I'm just going to remove that one. Or I can pay with credit card or add bank account information and then opt in to save it on my file as well for future transactions. So lots of options here for your customers to be able to pay their invoices sooner. As I mentioned, they can view their rentals. So these are things that we currently have on rent with the dealership. And as we're building it out, if we can grab a piece of equipment, this is the one we did earlier. This is showing our piece of equipment. It's not going out quite yet, so it's not on rent yet. And your customers will also have the ability to see the rental price that they're paying. So if they went through and they said, okay, I was going to return this on the 15th, they've already had it out for a while. They say through the rate optimization, see it's the same price I return on the 15th as if I return on the 22nd. So, I'm going to update it to the 22nd. I've already reached my monthly rate. So the last couple of days are free. And then as I update the due date here, it updates back in the rental system. So as your customers are helping you maintain the return dates, it makes your data a lot cleaner and a lot more predictable to say, hey, I have a lot more confidence that if I'm requesting one of these 90-foot booms, down in the future, I know I'm going to be having available because the data is cleaner. So you also have the ability, and this is prevalent throughout the platform, but you can kind of order what your screens look like that way, save it as a custom view, load saved views from before, and really customize the interface to what data is most important to you, because there's tons and tons of things that you could look at. Through the portal as well, you can also have your customers receive like, here's what's on rent reports, or here's some contracts with invalid POs, or here's some things that are coming due shortly. Do you want to extend them? Like this one just ended here, but could be extended by the customer, and they can search through lots of these things as well. So lots of options for your customers to be able to really self-serve, engage with you, and drive more business that way. So with that, I'm going to pause, see if there's some questions here as we're down to less than 10 minutes. And would love to make sure that the questions are answered for you guys. I'm just going to stop presenting here. All right. And as we got some questions coming in, is the pieces here. Okay, so we've got some questions. Feel free to put more questions in as well, as we'd love to answer them for you. And if we aren't, like Matt mentioned on the beginning, if we aren't able to answer it live on the call here, we'll be able to answer it one-to-one as well. So we've got a question here. So one thing that's important and missing in other rental applications is the integration with the CRM. What are the plans to integrate with SalesLink or other CRM programs that the dealer may use? Yeah, it's a great question. So part of the opportunity that we have now that we're bringing multiple companies together to really service all facets of your business is that we're able to bring those things together. So one of the pieces in the medium-term roadmap is to be able to bring in the data that comes from the rental management into the SalesLink CRM, so that you can have that full 360 view for your sales team, if they are specific to one business line, or if they're business line agnostic. That data is going to become visible in SalesLink over time, and then be able to enable your customer or your sales team to be able to create quotes, jumping back there as well. So you'll be able to bring all that data all together here as well. Other question, does your e-signature replace or require another system like DocuSign? So our e-signature, I guess I can probably show that. I'll show that quickly here as well. It doesn't require another system. It is the system. So whether we are, whether that customer is in person. So I jump into the contract here. This is the one we've been working with. So I can either do in person, where the customer gets emailed the document for signature, or in person is where they can sign it in front of you, or on their mobile device. And so this would be something you typically load up on a tablet. They review the contract just as they would in person, and then they can either draw their signature, or they can type their signature. It knows when it's on a mobile device, it defaults to the draw versus the type, and then it's all stored in here. So much like I showed you the pickup ticket, delivery ticket that the customer signed, and then we generate a receipt for, the same thing happens with here as well. So, and then they also receive a copy. There's a question here on, will there be an automatic pre-shipper when creating a rental agreement? So I believe you're referring to something I'm more familiar with as like a pre-delivery inspection, or a picking list. So it can do things like that, where it'll go through and, as part of your kind of like checkout process, you'll be able to grab all the pieces of equipment that go together, and do a basic inspection on it to make sure everything's in tip-top shape, and then send it out for your driver. So we do have a checkout process on the mobile device, or there's also a paper version of it as well. Question here, doing anything with inspections? So when it comes to rental fleet, we do have some options around inspections as well. So I mentioned briefly on the delivery ticket around the checklists. So when you're doing service, you can have customized inspection checklists. When you're doing a pickup or a delivery, or if you just want to scan the piece of equipment and do an inspection to make sure that the status is always available in real time, you can do things like that as well. So we do cover your inspections well, and be happy to talk through any use cases on a deeper dive demo as well. Does the system stand alone, or is it integrated with something like DBS? Yeah, so we do have, we've been operating both as standalone or as integrated into other ERPs. The work on DBS integration for the rental side for a couple of customers is getting underway shortly. So we'll be able to have one customer list, one fleet list, one parts list, and be able to drive all the transactions back into that. So for those who are on DBS, that's something that'll be upcoming. Similar question. We use DBS and ServiceLink. Yep. So for work order management, so like I mentioned, if your fleet is managed by one team and they're using ServiceLink to manage the fleet, it'll be the same fleet stored across. So you'll be able to keep using that and just manage your rental transactions on the rental side, manage your service stuff in ServiceLink, and manage your customers in SalesLink. All right, another question here. How are you solving for the paper call log? What are your plans for digital call log? I'm not sure if you're referring to like SalesLink and the CRM side and being able to do like capturing activities and touch points with customers, which we do as well. Or if this is more on the when a customer calls in and is asking for something. So we do cover it on the CRM side with SalesLink, but I'm not sure if I've properly understood that question. But we'll make sure that when the team reaches out that we can answer that one for you. Awesome. Lots of good questions in here. There's a couple that are fairly specific to single customers, so we'll make sure that the team answers for those directly. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody's questions and listening in. And we'd love to touch base and show you more if you're interested in showing more, or really love understanding more of kind of the problems you're looking to solve and what questions you may have about that. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and there'll be future webinars coming up as well. So keep your eyes in your inbox for those, and hopefully this was helpful, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.